Love is not enough. You've likely heard that before.
Are you in a relationship?
I am.
Are you married?
I am.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned through marriage?
That love actually isn't enough to sustain a relationship. I feel like a lot of people are in relationships because they love the person so much. But I feel like I've come to realize that love is actually the easy part. Like falling in love with someone is beautiful and it's natural and it's instinctive and it's romantic, but actually holding down a relationship comes with all the bits that aren't as romantic. It's the communication, it's the sacrifice, it's the expectation, it's the independency versus the codependency. So yeah, my biggest lesson is that love is so beautiful, but actually love isn't enough.
People say it like it's wisdom, like it's something deep, like it's something mature. But every time I hear that, I can't help but think, do we actually understand what love is? Because if love is not enough, then what is? If love can't sustain something, then what are we building our relationships on? Or is the real issue is that we've redefined love into something so fragile that of course it's not enough? Let's talk about this. The phrase love is not enough can sound true on the surface, and honestly, based on how you define love, it can be true, but that's the problem. In the Bible, it says that love endures all things according to 1 Corinthians 13 verse 7, which is contradictory to pop culture. When scripture says love endures all things, it's not talking about a temporary emotional state. It's talking about a deliberate posture of the heart and intention. That kind of love is powerful enough to carry people through difficulty. But when people say that love is not enough, they aren't talking about love. They're talking about feelings. They're talking about the butterflies, the excitement, the chemistry, the emotional highs. And if that's your definition of love, then of course, it's not enough. Because feelings are inconsistent. Feelings change, feelings fade. You can feel deeply connected with someone one day and then completely distant the next. So if your relationship is built on feelings alone, then it's already on borrowed time. But here's where things get dangerous. People take that unstable version of love, watch it fail, and then conclude, see, love isn't enough. No, that wasn't love. That was emotion. People have cheapened the definition of love and then conclude it's insufficient. Well, you might be asking, what is love? Before we get into what love is, let's talk about what it isn't. Love is not a feeling. And let me say that again. Love is not your emotions. Love may involve feelings, but it's not a feeling in and of itself. Love is a choice. Love is a commitment. Love is a decision that you make, especially when it's inconvenient. Because it's easy to love someone when everything is going right. It's easy when you're happy. It's easy when they're meeting your needs. It's easy when there's no conflict. But that's not where real love is proven. Real love is proven when things get hard. When communication breaks down, when you're misunderstood, when you're frustrated, when you don't feel the way you used to. That's the moment when most people say, I'm not happy anymore. I don't feel it anymore. I think love is gone. But what if that's actually the moment when love is supposed to begin? Here's the truth that a lot of people don't want to hear. Most people don't fall out of love. They fall out of feelings. And because they've been taught that love is a feeling, they assume that love is gone. So what do? They leave. They walk away. They start over. They chase that feeling with someone different only to end up in the same cycle. Because feelings will always fluctuate. Always. You can't build something that's permanent on something that's temporary, as emotions. And that's what a lot of modern relationships are trying to do. They're trying to build a long-term relationship on short-term emotions, and that just will never work. When we say love endures, we're not saying love is easy. We're not saying love ignores problems. We're not saying love pretends as if everything is okay. What we're saying is love stays, love works. Love chooses not to give up when giving up would be easier. Endurance doesn't mean that there's no struggle. It just means that you don't run when struggle appears. And that's the difference. Because anyone can stay when it's easy, but not everyone chooses to stay when it's hard. And that's why a lot of people never actually experienced real love. Because they've never stayed long enough to see what love does under pressure. Now let's be honest for a second, because this is where a lot of people can misunderstand this message. Saying that love endures does not mean you tolerate everything. It does not mean that you stay in toxic situations. It does not mean that you allow yourself to be abused, manipulated, or disrespected. Enduring love is not blind. It's not self-destructive. Real love includes wisdom, boundaries, and mutual efforts. Because love is not meant to be carried by one person. It's not meant to be one-sided. Two people choosing each other, that's what creates something strong. But when only one person is chosen, that's not love being tested. That's love being taken advantage of. And those two things are very different. So instead of saying that
Love? No. Love is not enough. Love is not what makes a relationship last. A lot of people love each other, but they're not together. Love is not what makes you stay together. What makes a relationship last is understanding. What makes a relationship last is commitment. What makes a relationship last is the ability to change. If you as an individual refuse to change and the other party refuses to change, then you will not last. You can love each other very much and you refuse to change. Change is the catalyst of a lasting relationship. If you change and you are committed and consistent, the relationship is going to last. It's not about love.
maybe we need to say something more accurate. Something like feelings are not enough, emotions aren't enough, chemistry is not enough, because those things will come and go. But real love, the kind that chooses, the kind that sacrifices, the kind that endures, that kind of love is powerful. That kind of love builds. That kind of love lasts.
I don't know about you, but I hear this a lot. Why isn't love alone enough for a strong marriage? Love is definitely enough, insofar as the definition of love isn't mere feelings but actions that reinforce the reality of its existence. It's always loving to tell the truth, even when it hurts the feelings of those we truly love. Because the alternative, especially in most cases, the outcome of encouraging lies and delusion by distorting the reality of what we may have observed in that person or how the relationship is going, is damaging to them and to the relationship. The greatest command is to love God and love our neighbor as ourselves, and we often forget that our spouses are our very first neighbors. So when we truly love, I'm not talking about the fake kind of love. Let our love be one that serves to build, to nurture, to give, and not hypocritically. Let it be one that comes with patience, kindness, gentleness, and generally the good fruits that true love must produce in ourselves and in others. At times we can use discretion, no doubt. That kind of love that has those patience is enough to carry through every aspect of life with someone you have made a loving commitment to cherish for the rest of your life, for better, for worse, in sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, until death do you part. The love the world professes often isn't love at all, but lust or a manipulation tool. That kind of love doesn't sustain marriages, but is more transactional than covenantal. Because it is only seen and expressed when there is a reciprocal show of feelings, or as it pleases the one who says he or she is in love. That kind of love that's built on the law of reciprocity. Do for me, I do for you. It's not often sustainable. And that's often the version of love that's being advertised in our world today. It's the kind of love that leads to such questions like this. Is love enough?
You see, the reason why this conversation matters so much is because the way in which you define love will determine how you show up in relationships. Because if you define love as a feeling, you will only stay there as long as you feel good. But if you define love as a choice, you will learn how to remain even when things get hard. And that doesn't mean you'll stay in just everything, but it does mean that you won't walk away from something real just because it stopped being easy. Because real love isn't proven in comfort, it's proven in commitment. So the next time you come across someone that says love is not enough, don't just agree with it. Challenge them. Ask them, what do you mean by love? Because if they're talking about feelings, then yeah, they're right. But if we're talking about real love here, the kind that chooses, sacrifices, and endures, then maybe the issue is that love is not enough. Maybe it is that we've never truly understood it. And if we don't fix that, we will keep walking away from things that are meant to last, just because it stopped feeling easy. If this video made you think differently about love, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if you've been in a situation where you thought love was gone, but really it was just your feelings changing, I'd like to hear your story. Because the conversation around love, yeah, we need to get that right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Don't forget to like this content, to subscribe, and to comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.